Car order. It's always been car order.
I strongly disagree.
That's the way it is. Ripped him out through the window in a nice way.
Just so I can go down and drink a carton while everyone punches on.
Just pisses me to tears. That's the worst thing you can do.
You shut up, you hack. Talking about boat ramps, this is what I wanted to get through from the start. What he said.
Oh, you just been an idiot.
And welcome to the Chumming Up podcast, the fishing, spearfishing and ocean adventure podcast that is so progressive we believe that any black person should be allowed to play the Little Mermaid. Except for Lizzo, because that bitch is too big to play the Little anything. I am Squirrely, and on today's podcast we have John Pinno, because the other boys are going fishing. How you going, Big Horse?
Yeah, I'm going well. Thank you, Squirrely. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. You do have a head like a ball sinker, so that fits the fishing theme. You're obviously a comedian in Perth.
Try to be.
Try to be?
Try to be, yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, we're a fishing podcast. So, have you done much fishing?
Not really. I mean, earlier on in life.
That might be an issue.
Yeah. Well, look at me. I love eating fish. That's a good start.
Yeah. Fish and chips.
So, yeah, well, you know, always in batter.
Yep.
So I wish you could catch you that way, to be honest. Just
Yeah.
straight out the fryer. Maybe I should start some deep fat frying fishing. I don't know.
Yeah, mate.
But no, I've done a lot of freshwater fishing in the UK.
Yep.
A little bit in Ireland. So I fished for, perch, carp, common carp, a good bit of pike fishing.
Yep.
And I've had the pleasure of doing a bit of trout fishing over in Ireland, which was
Yeah, nice. On fly or just
on fly, fly fishing, which is it's not the easiest thing to master, but it's
that's
good
for
fun.
sure. I definitely haven't done it yet. When we were kids, we just used to, in the marina there was a little creek, and me and my cousins just used to yell like really fucked up shit to the fly fishermen all the time. So I haven't bitten the book. I really want to go learn it, but then, young me's like, fuck off, you pansy.
Yeah.
So,
look, it's good going to Ireland, casting out, drinking lots of beer, getting up the next morning with a hangover, and
eating a potato,
eating a couple of potatoes, and just keep casting in. And then the only real fishing I've done in Western Australia is really off the beach. Caught a couple of tailor. What I find about fishing in Australia is even the little fish can bite your fucking hand off. Do you know what I mean? So I caught my first fish, which was a tailor, probably about 10 years ago. Went to take it off the hook, and even this thing just had teeth on it, like
the chopper.
Oh, mate. It was scary.
Yep.
Then I caught I thought I'd caught like a massive shark. It turned out it was just a stingray.
Yeah, okay.
But that was fun times.
That happens a lot.
That was fun times. But I remember I was down in Mandurah, and I was fishing, as you do at lunchtime.
Yep.
Which is the best time to catch fish, I'm guessing, which is not, obviously.
Yeah. Pretty much the opposite normally, but yeah.
But, being a pom, not knowing anything about dusk of dawn,
Yep.
So I'm casting in, and I got fed up, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and catch a stingray.
Yep.
So I just cast in, and then as I was waiting, right beneath my feet, a fucking big stingray just swam past. I could have just picked it up out the water. And then I thought, I'm packing my tackle up, and I'm going home.
Yeah.
So, I got the worst sunburn on my legs I've ever got from that fishing trip.
Yeah.
So not really exciting.
That's what gets you still. Like even now, I still get burnt on the back of the legs because it's the last place. That and the feet.
Yeah.
I just never put sunscreen on.
Well, I'm lazy, so it's just stretching down today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll do the top of my head, but I'm not doing my calves.
Yeah.
But there's nothing worse than getting that burnt back of the knee sort of
Yeah,
pain.
it's in the worst spot. And you notice, the first time you notice is normally when you hit the shower. You're just like, oh, fuck, this is not going to be a good couple of days.
Yeah, scrubbing it away, going, shit,
Yeah.
No, so that's my experience. Look, I'd go down to the beach with a nice beach rod, cast off. I wouldn't put any bait on, just to sit there and look normal.
Yeah. just to fit in.
Just to fit in, because down the beach, the likes of me, I'm a big lad. There's people running up and down. There's people with dogs. Everyone's looking super fit.
Yep.
If I'm just sitting on the beach, which I like doing, just enjoying the waves and looking for sharks and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I think if you've got a rod there, it just makes you more Australian.
Yeah, well, you don't look like the crepe looking at the girls too.
Exactly.
You're like, I'm just trying to catch a fish here, love. I'm after a tailor.
What do you mean you need binoculars? But look, I love Western Australia. They're just down the beach. The sea's pristine. You see some wonderful things. Like I was down watching a couple of lads fish, and next minute this big massive thing pops out the water. And at first I thought, oh, it's a shark. It's going to be something.
Yep.
Turns out it was just a seal playing round.
Yeah.
And it was just stealing all their bait and just like popping up and laughing at them.
Yeah.
So that's my fishing's probably. I should do more fishing.
Yep.
Because it's so easy as well. I've got. That's a bit of a lie. I've also caught a brim.
Yeah, okay.
Which was actually a nice fish to catch. It was actually a big fish. But then my daughter, who was 7 at the time, cast in and caught like a brim, which was 3 times the size of mine.
That's what happens.
You know, and she was like, she didn't even care. Yeah. I was like, get a picture with it. And she's like, nah, Dad, just throw it back.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, one of the blokes regular on the podcast, Leewald, his son has like several fishing records, like caught black marlin, loads of sailfish and stuff like that, and it's just standard for him.
Yeah. I think the difference between here and the UK is that you catch a big fish and you think it's a big fish, and then you match it to fish that you catch in WA or the rest of Australia, and they're not big fish.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you know, I've got a carp here, it weighs 7 pounds.
Yeah. It's like the opposite to just about everything else in the world. In Australia, it's like normally we're the big fish in a small pond, but when it comes to fish, we're the big fish in the small pond, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't.
It makes sense to me.
Okay, well, that's the main thing. We might be the only ones that watch this, so.
But, so, and as I say, the thing I also love about fishing in Western Australia, you know, is that most of the fish you catch, you can eat. You know, and generally it's good eating as well. Yeah. I mean, everyone goes on about cod. I mean, cod's a beautiful fish to eat, you know, and flatties and things like that. Hake is probably what we'd call it. And it's good fish, but, you know, every fish here, except for, I think, is it King George salmon, is it?
You're mixing a couple up there. Well, you got a King George whiting and you got a salmon, the Australian salmon.
What's the one that you wouldn't give to your neighbour?
The Australian salmon, yeah. I was going to say, the King George whiting's fucking...
A good fish.
Yeah, they're very good. But, the old salmon, that's the mother-in-law fish.
That's that the mother-in-law. We were down Mealup, is it? So it's a beach just Dunsborough way. Well, south direction. And it was in the winter, and the fishermen were there. So you had 2... And it was the best thing I've ever seen, like sort of when it comes to fishing off the beach. So you had a small tinny, you had 2 4x4s, and so the guy runs out with the net, does a massive semicircle, and the water's bouncing everywhere. You know this. So he does a big massive semicircle, and they hitch you up to the 2 4x4s, and then they pull the nets in. Yep. And I wasn't expecting. I was expecting to see like 1 or 2 fish. Holy shit! There was probably about a ton of fish in these nets. And I says to the guy, geez, man, that's a lot of fish. And he went, nah. The guy that his young lad was doing, he went, the young lad, he messed up. He didn't go far enough. We should have got 4 times that amount. I was like, holy Moses, that's unbelievable. Yeah. But that was all salmon. I think that was all going to pet food. Yeah, I guess. It still looked like good eating. I mean, it looked like good fish. I don't know if they're bony or just tasteless or... Oh,
they're very red, bloody, mate. Yeah. You know... I think I might have caught one as a kid. Yeah. But yeah, they actually had some up in Exmouth weirdly, but normally they're sort of down here type of fish. But yeah, I mean, someone would eat it. There'd be someone out there going like, it's not bad. So, but who the fuck knows?
Well, when it comes to fish, like, what's your favourite eating fish then?
I'm a weirdo. Because I like marlin. Okay. Yeah.
As in a sailfish, is that?
Well, like you got sailfish, which I've eaten. Marlin. No, I don't think I've eaten sailfish actually, but I've eaten marlin. So I've eaten black marlin and blue marlin.
Yeah.
Where first time was a black marlin. Someone else prepared it or fucking cut it up for me, and I just pan fried it and was like, this is really good.
Yeah.
And then the rest have just been where a marlin has died on us, and we've brought it back, cut it up. Obviously, you're not allowed to eat too much of it because it stores all the mercury and shit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, to me, I don't know if you've ever eaten a cobia or something like that, but they're a very tasty fish.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I'd pretty much eat anything. Coral trout's nice. Probably the underrated as far as those type of fish is the scarlet, or on the East Coast they call them big-eyed nanny guy.
Oh, yeah.
Or big mouth nanny guy. To me they're better than a red in everything that you'd like in a red emperor. So, but at the same time, I'd rather just eat a steak.
and battle with the fish.
Yeah. I'm just in it for the capture. Same with like crayfish. It's probably my most fun thing to do is dive for crays, but I couldn't be fucked eating them most of the time.
My wife's dad, my father-in-law, had a boat, and he'd go out just off Ocean Reef and drop his pots and get loads of crays. And then he had a bit of an incident where the boat sank, basically. But the boat was 30 years old. It was a fiberglass boat. It was a lovely boat in great condition.
Yeah.
Just had a situation where I don't know if it was a rogue wave, but a wave hit it, must have cracked the hull. Next minute, it sunk really quick.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he was, and I'll never forget it. And he was floating in the sea for about 3 hours. And
shit!
Luckily, it was summer.
Yep.
Luckily, he was holding onto the reserve petrol tank, which had no petrol in it, so it was a great float. It was a great floaty, and then and another boat come along and spotted them, but they only spotted them because they seen another, another tank or another something floating.
Yeah, okay, something floated past them.
And the young lad that was on the boat went, let's go and check, and it turned out it was one of his friends.
Yep.
But my wife's got a big family, and when they heard that the boat had sank and their father had been out for 3 hours, they were all like, oh, how are we going to get our cray now? It's like, no one said to me, you're all right, Dad, you got hypothermia, you're traumatized. Like, fuck, where are we getting our crayfish from now?
People get like that. It's like their meth connectors just being cut. Like, man, how are we going to get them crays now?
Yeah. And then they won't buy a cray because it's $30.
Oh, mate,
you know what I mean? It's like,
fuck that. For a fucking sea bug.
Yeah.
No, I'm not buying crays.
No, I was just like to him, are you okay? I was the only one who was interested.
Yeah.
Where are we going to get our crays from now? But I think especially any of the fish you catch off the coast or you catch off a boat, big or small, they always seem to put a good fight up. They're always good battling fish.
Yep.
It's and like I've seen guys reeling fish off the beach and they're fighting with it, and then they get it in and it's it's 10 inches long. It's fuck all. It's a garfish or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're always up for a fight. But I think that's probably just the Aussie way. I don't know.
It's just like fucking come on, have ya?
I'm going to die, but I'm going to fucking die the hardest way possible.
Well, I know like Delby, a mutual mate of ours in comedy, he comes up to Exmouth a fair bit, or was. I'd book him for shows. And the thing is, he can't like sit in a car for too long because of his back. He's had like
glass back Delby.
Yeah.
Sorry, Delby.
Yeah. So he's like had multiple back operations, and it's always a thing, like how far's the drive? Because if it's too far. But then I took Mush and his mates out with Leewald catching marlin and stuff like that, like blue marlin, which are the biggest ones we get on the West Coast. And Delby was like, you're going to take me out to do that? I was like, no. And he's like, that'd be fine. I'm like, I don't think you know.
We haven't got a stretcher on board.
Like, you can have the best back in the world. By the end of the fight, you have a bad back, let alone if you started it with one, you're crying. And the thing is, the fishermen that are taking you out there are not turning around.
They're not bringing you in.
No. Yeah. And if you hook a record, you've got to pull it in yourself.
Yeah.
So there's no stopping.
So what happens there? So if I hook something and like suddenly go, oh, me back, and you take over,
Can't get a record.
that doesn't become your record.
No.
Even if it's the biggest fish ever caught.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, like the whole pissing and shitting yourself. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Because there's some fights that go way into the night, sort of thing, hours and hours.
Yeah. I see one on a boat once, and the guys pull it in, and he's fighting it, and then he's like, quick, I need emergency ciggy. The guy sticks the ciggy in his mouth, lights it up, and he's still going.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah, I've done that with the beer.
Yeah.
A couple times when you're just sweating it all out. Probably better for water nowadays, but
does that so say like you're and again, I don't mean to quiz you about everything fishing, but if you're pulling a fish in, right, and I'm struggling, but I've still got hold of the rod, and then you grab the rod and help me, does that make it null and void as
done?
Well?
Yeah, it's actually funny that you bring all this up because during the week there's this viral TikTok video of these Americans in a I forgot the name of the fish, but in a competition. So they're weighing their fish.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's got sinkers in the belly. Yeah.
That's bad sportsman though.
Yes. So it's always around fishing comps like that, the marlin and stuff like that. Because if a deckhand hooks the fish for you or grabs so once the fish is on, no one else can grab the rod for you. So
mate, that's just turns into an extreme sport then.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
I know it's extreme in certain circumstances, but the fact that no one can help you, or just shout at you.
Oh, mate, and that's why experience on it is big, because the first time someone gets on a marlin, they think go as hard as I can. They stop braving and they just go and they'll wind like 30 winds or something while the fish is going the other way. And they're fucking cooked. And you're like, mate, you're here for another 2 hours, and there are times where you've got to go hell for leather, but my biggest thing is remembering to brave, because you just want to clench down and it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Now, there's another question then.
Yep.
Sorry. So say you're on the boat.
Yep.
What if you slam the boat in reverse and stuff?
That's what you do.
So that's okay. That's
yeah. So that's probably the big thing in with the small boats fishing for marlin up north is it used to be that you drove off the fish to hook them up.
Yeah.
And lost a lot of line. Nowadays, once you hook them, you get all the other rods in as quick as you can, and you drive after them. Yeah. And that's where the bloke on the rod's got to go hell for leather while you're chasing it down. Sometimes, you'll see the bloke with the rod winding backwards and the fish is in front of the boat like 10, 15 metres away, just this massive marlin jumping. Yeah. It's fucking insane. The best part to be is on the boat, not on the rod. Because you get to see everything and you just you get to watch the awesomeness and then go, hey, what are you doing, coward? Fucking wind faster. It's the best. Sip of the beer.
I mean, that sounds like bliss, as you say, for the crew and your mates. But if you've got it on, it's just like fucking nightmare. Just keep going and going and going.
Oh, trust me, the people that fish the most go on the rod the least. Here we go.
Oh, I'm not going fishing with you then. I'll be dying of a fucking heart attack and you'd be like, don't let go of the rod.
Oh, don't worry about that. You'd find out. There's no sympathy out there, trust me.
Yeah, and then when it comes to your line snapping, obviously, sometimes you're just unlucky. The fish will just, you tie a dodgy knot or...
Well, that's the difference between the really good boats, fishing boats, like the skippers and crew, compared to the decent or slightly less. So the really good crews make less mistakes. Yeah. So you can say if the line snapped, you could go, oh, that's bad luck, or you could figure out why. Yeah. Have you not re-spooled that rod? Was it the knot? Was it the gear? Should you have replaced a swivel?
Yeah.
And that's what the really good people do. People like me, like
just throw a piece of rope in with a hook on. Just hope you're best.
Yeah, that's it. She'll be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember you telling me a couple of months back that you were doing a bit of night spear fishing down the river.
No. I was doing some night crabbing and prawning in the river.
Oh, right. Have you ever gone like scuba? Well, not scuba diving, but sort of diving for fish at night. And can you spear fish at night?
You can. So I haven't done any night spearing. Just I've dove for crabs at night down at Mandurah, and just recently in the river. But as far as spearfishing goes, I know a lot of people used to do it up in Exmouth and spear because the blue bone and that go to sleep. Yeah, cover themselves in a spit ball.
All right.
So you can just swim up to them and go bang.
Shoot the poor bastard.
Yeah.
Well, they're having nice dreams of freaking catching prawns.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a bit more worried about the sharks at night up there if I'm spearing. So I haven't really.
But that's
done
what I was going to
much.
say. If you're doing any sort of underwater night stuff, like that's scary. It's scary in the daylight when you can see it coming.
Yeah.
But at night. That's
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not so bad. I mean, if you're just kind of swimming or searching for shit, but the whole spearing a fish, like we get the sharks on us fairly well instantly when we're spearing during the day.
Yeah.
So at night time, I don't know how fucking.
Because I was always taught like blood attracts sharks. You shoot a fish with a spear.
Yeah.
Is there much blood?
So as far as blood attracting sharks, like it does, but the main thing is just the injured fish.
Yeah.
So
just like flapping about.
Yeah. That's why like when you spear and you try and keep yourself calm as well. Because when someone goes in and they start panicking, that's when the sharks sense it and get rolled up. But a lot of them now, they'll sort of follow the spear fishermen around, or they'll hear the shot, and they know that.
And then just go and take the fish.
Yeah. So when you're diving, there'll be fish everywhere, and the sharks will just be swimming past. They don't give a shit. As soon as one's injured or something like that, it's like easy feed,
easy target,
bang. So and then like the sharks up there, like the tigers and everything, they become a lot more active at night. So there's a bit more full on. But I'd love to say I was a hero in the river, but I was shitting myself waiting for a big bull shark the whole time. And I was stupid enough to do it all by myself because. Well, I got no friends.
Got no mates.
So, I mean, it's like, mate.
Stroking the bull shark saying, you're my only fucking friend. Don't bite me leg off, you bastard.
Yeah, at least you care about me. I do want you to tell a story that you told me, though, that involves a fish. I was a little bit drunk when I heard it, so I don't remember it fully, but... It's about some housemates or...
Well, yeah, so, the type of comedian I am, I'm quite a gentle comic, so, it's sort of, this is one of the experiences that I had. So, backstory is, I just split up. What year was it? Let's give you all your listeners are probably really young, so they're going to think he's an old...
I don't think
he's
so.
An old fuck. Well, this is for the old fuckers. So it was last century.
Okay.
You don't hear that, do you? Last century. When was that? 1998.
Yeah.
So it was 1998, 1999, and I just split up with a beautiful girl,
Of course she is, because she's a memory. She was fucking hot.
Mate, she was beautiful. And I thought I want to be free and all that. So we split up, and I was at university at the time. So I was studying with this guy, and he says to me, "Oh, you're looking for a place to live? I know this guy who's got a couple of apartments." Now, apartments in Australia is probably different to what you would class apartments in the UK. It wasn't a bed sit Do you know what a bed sit is? It's basically a bed in a room.
Oh, yeah,
You know, with a cooker in the corner, you know.
Yeah, like those fold-up fucking things in the wall.
Mate, no, that's posh. That's even you know, a fucking toilet in one corner and an oven in the other corner.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, okay.
But it was a bit nicer than that. So it was like
having a piss while you're frying your eggs. That sounds like luxury to me.
That does sound great, doesn't it? Now it does sound great. But so it was a bit more than that. It was like a 1-bedroom apartment. So he said, "Oh, the only problem is the landlord's, you know, he's invested in his tenants, you know. So he wants, you know, you got to go and meet him first." And he lived in one of the apartments. So there was 2 houses converted, and there's probably 14 apartments.
Yep.
And in the house, or the side I ended up living, there was 5. So anyway, I meet this guy. He's well, let's say I'll say he's Turkish. Let's say that he's not, but he was a ex-professional boxer, little guy. Wouldn't think he was a hard guy, but he was rock solid. You know, this guy knocked big fellas out for fun. You know.
Yep.
But he was a really nice guy. He did tell a story about fucking a chicken once, but that's probably for another podcast, because he couldn't find a goat. But that's
we're all been there.
Goats are a lot more difficult to catch compared to chicken. And because he was a boxer, from that day on we just called him fucking Rocky. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I goes down.
Maybe that's what Rocky was chasing them chickens for. That's the deleted scenes.
Yeah, you got to get that on the extended director's cut.
Yeah.
So I goes and meets this guy, and he goes, "Look, you know, I'll show you the apartment." But before he shows me the apartment, it was number 5. He introduced me to everybody else, like flat number 1, which 2 brothers lived in.
Yep.
2 lovely guys, you know, slightly strange chaps, like, but so 2 brothers in flat 1, a really nice couple, flat 2. I won't go through all. There was a German in flat 6 who I found dead, and again, that's a podcast in itself.
Yes.
And I moved into flat 5. So anyway, the day I was moving in, the 2 brothers come out to greet me. And they were like, "Oh, you know, come and have a cup of tea." And before I knew it, I was standing in their living room. Yep. And in the living room was the biggest fish tank I've fucking seen in my life. It must have been, you know, what, 7 foot long, and about, you know, what's it in meters? I don't know. Sort of, you know, let's say a meter, 2 meters long and a meter high. You know, really thick glass. And in it was this solitary common carp. You know, sort of I don't know if you've seen a common carp, but they're sort of bronzy, dirty, goldy colour. You know, like a giant goldfish that's lost all its golden colour. Yeah. But it's massive. And so the brother's saying, "Oh, you know, this is my beautiful fish. I found them." So there was a lake across in a park just up the road from there, and he'd found this fish half dead on the side. So someone had caught it and just left it on the side. Yeah. And he, you know, I don't know if he gave it CPR or whatever, but he managed to find a bucket, and he brought this fish home. And he put it in a little tank, and it started to grow. So I ended up with this big, massive fish. Like, it was a big fish. Yep. And then the younger brother, so the older brother and the younger brother lived together. So the older brother's like, "Oh, it's my fish. I love this fish. It's absolutely fantastic." And then the younger brother goes, stick your finger in the water, stick your thumb in the water. And with that, he sticks his thumb in the water, and this fish just hooks onto his thumb and basically nearly pulls his hand off. So I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And then as I go, he goes, you know, this guy goes, "That's his girlfriend," to the older brother. So the older brother's like, "Fuck off, you." And he was like, "Look, he's even got a tea towel that he wraps it in when he kisses it like that." And there was actually a tea towel up next to it. So at this point, I'm like, "All right, lads, I'll see you later." So I goes, thinks nothing of it, just thinks, you know, what a nice big fish, what a great pet, you know.
Yeah.
So it's probably about 5-6 weeks later, Sunday morning. I'm hungover to fuck because I'd been out the night before, had a big night, got in about 3 a.m. So it's only about 8 o'clock in the morning. And it just is this screaming and this shouting and this screaming. I'm like, what? And the whole apartment, everyone's out. And the German at the German at the time, who was still alive at this point, says to me, John, go down, see what's going on. Like, fucking, I've got to go down. So I quickly, you know, walks down, half dressed, you know. And the older brother, whose fish it was, he's going, "He's killed the fish, he's killed." Now, Bernadette was the name of the fish, but they called it Bernie. Yeah. So I was like, and he's going, "Bernie, he's killed fucking Bernie, he's killed my fish. So anyway, I'm like, what the fuck? So it turns out he goes, and I'm like, where is he? What's going on? So I goes into his apartment. Now, at this time, this guy's smashing, banging doors, and he's absolutely losing the plot. And I'm thinking, shit, he loved this fucking fish, like.
Yep.
So I goes in, and there's the brother. He's absolutely sparked out. There's a bottle of whiskey empty bottle of whiskey on the floor next to him. He's lying back on the couch, there, bollock naked from the waist down. There's a tea towel across his lap, the one that was at the roll, and this fucking massive fish stuck on his cock. But he's absolutely fast asleep. So the brother had worked a night shift.
Yep.
So it turns out the brother had worked a night shift, come home and found his brother. So anyway, next minute I'm like, shit, is he dead? I mean, not the fish, the brother. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Was he still there?
So I'm tapping him on the face, like, and he's
slapping him like a fish.
Yeah, slapping him like a fucking a wet fucked fish.
Yeah, he was just getting harder and harder as you were doing it.
So then he's like, he's breathing, so I can see he's breathing. Then it turns my attention to the fish, and I'm thinking, oh fuck, is the fish dead and all that? So I says to the brother, is the fish dead? Which he just suddenly goes like a light bulb moment. He comes in, he grabs the fish, pulls it off his brother's cock, basically. And literally starts giving it fucking CPR.
Oh no.
Which was going all right because he was just pushing it together.
Yep.
But then he fucking literally threw the lips on it.
Oh no.
He was like blowing in it and all that. And I was just like, oh fuck, I've got to go. Next minute, the landlord, I nearly said his name there. Next minute, the landlord turned up going, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, he's killed his fish. Well, then he's on top of this guy, slapping him to fuck, going, what are you doing fucking his fish? It's his fish. It's his fish. So long story short, like, he come around and he goes, oh, it's his fault. He never gives me a go.
No.
I come in and catch him, fucking the fish all the time. So I'm standing here going, is this fucking happening?
Yeah.
Is this happening? This can't. And then the penny dropped. Obviously, at some point in this fish's life, he groomed this fish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He brought this fish back to life as a little fucking little baby. What do you call a baby fish? I don't know.
Little fry.
You know. And then, at what point did he work out that he could stick the fish on his cock and it'd give him fellatio, basically? So he must have put his thumb in at some point and it sucked his thumb. And then I'm thinking, like, what size was he sitting there? And he just went, like,
yeah,
I'm going to stick that on me cock.
dick in there.
I'm going to stick me dick in there.
Fuck it.
Now, I must admit, like, the way it was sucking that fella's thumb, like the brother's thumb, it probably give good head, to be honest. It would probably be an experience. Not that we all want to try. So I'm standing there thinking, what the fuck? What's going on? What's going on here? So I'm trying to sort of get my way out of it. Have you ever seen Homer Simpson where he goes into the bushes? I'm trying to get into the bushes. Next minute they're scrapping and he's like, how did you do that? How could you fuck Bernie? Why did you fuck Bernie? And then so anyway. So the landlord split them up and all that, and the brother fucked off, pulled his pants up and fucked off. And I must admit, all the point of this, I was thinking to myself, fuck, he's a big lad as well. He was fucking, I think the fish choked to death. Yeah. It wasn't that he drowned because he wasn't getting. So it turns out what had happened. So I get the story from the landlord. So what happened? His brother had gone on his night shift and wouldn't give him any money for booze. Yeah. So he'd scrimped and found, searched the whole house, found enough for a cheap bottle of whiskey. Went and got a bottle of whiskey. Come back and thought, oh fucking, I'll teach him, the bastard, like, you know what I mean, not give me, leave me any money for the beer, So he got the fish out and basically fucking nutted the fish, got, obviously fulfilled his, fulfilled himself, but shot his seed.
Yeah.
And like every
put the worm in the fish and then fucking.
Put the bait in the mouth.
Yeah.
And like every good fella, once you've got to that point, everything else is just like, oh, yeah. So the fucker's relaxed and fell asleep.
Yeah, and with the fish on his cock.
Fish is on his cock, which, obviously it would have, because it was wrapped in because in my head I was like, why didn't it flap about, or why didn't it go on fucking dying? But because it's wrapped in the, in the tea towel, it couldn't do fuck all. So that's how he killed the fish.
Fuck.
But and they were like, I'm never talking to him again. I'm never talking. And so they were arguing for a couple of days after. And then I'll never forget it. Like, I was just thinking, oh, I need to move out to these, because that was just one thing that happened. You know what I mean? In these apartments.
That's a pretty big thing.
That was one of the mildest things. And I just thought, I've got to get out these apartments, or write a fucking script for a comedy show.
I want to watch that show.
So I comes home from uni. So as I'm coming through the door, he goes, John, quick, come here, come and look at this. And it was the older brother. He said, come and look. He said, oh, me and my brother have made it up. Come and have a look. So I goes in this fucking massive fish tank, and in the middle there's this tiny little fish.
Oh no!
This tiny little goldfish swimming out. And you know what I thought, mate? I thought, do I phone the RSPCA? Because that fish is going to get groomed, and it's going to be in a situation. Like, I don't know if fish rape's a thing. I don't know. It might have been consensual. I don't know. Did he look at the fish and it was like...
She wants it.
She wants. That's the way she's looking at me. You know?
Those big fish eyes.
Those big fish eyes. You know, those eyelashes just batting away. So that was basically like. And I always and then he says to me, what do you think of the fish and all that? And he's going to call it Bernadette 2 or something like that. And he said, what are you doing this afternoon? I said, I'm not doing much. Like, he said, come down. We're all getting together in the back garden. So where these apartments was, there was a big green area outside. Really nice place to have picnics and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I goes down. I hears the landlord shouting, John, come on, we're all together. So he goes down, into this back sort of garden area. They're having a fucking funeral for this fish. Fucking fish. So they've dug a hole.
Yep.
And the fish is wrapped in the tea towel. Like, it's wrapped in its
wrapped
tea towel.
in the cum rack.
They've dug the hole. They're fucking burying the fish. So they're burying the fish and all that. And then the older brother says, oh, do you want to say a couple of words?
Oh, no.
And the brother says, oh, it was good while it lasted. And then all hell broke loose. And I was just like, fucking Homer Simpson just disappeared away from there. But you just think, I just like, there's so many questions I had, and I never got to ask them. Do you know? It was like, what have you groomed any other animals? Is that, what is this like? I mean, and why just get one new fish? Why not get 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Just so you have a selection of like a harem of fish. Why not get your brother one? I mean, and I thought to myself, why not get 2 so they've got one each?
Yeah. Less fighting.
Less fighting, more loving,
Yeah. Let's be honest. I mean, if you're fucking a fish and there's 2 fish, it's a 3-way.
Well, it's an orgy. And it smells like you're being with a few women, like 30 women. I don't know what you'll say.
Imagine that. Like his girlfriend calls him on it. It's like, nah, it's just the fish smell. And it is, but it's still not a good thing. Yeah, it's still, you've fucked a fish.
You're fucking a fish. But I think out of all the animals to fuck, I mean, was he fucking the fish, or it was fellatio? So I don't think it's. I don't know if you get your cock sucked by a goat, is that bestiality? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah. I know for sure because that, the prompts on the dating apps.
Yeah,
that's mine.
I fucked the goat.
No. If you get fellatio from a goat, it's a bestiality, and 100%. Apparently, it is.
It is. Yeah. Especially that's what the judge said as well. So that was. I mean, it was like that. Living in that apartment, there was like so many crazy things, but I always just think, like, if that ever happened to me, would I still carry on living with my brother, or would I just think, enough's enough? Do you know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you.
Not that I want to, fuck fish, but like, if it was the love of your life, it is like, it is like just, to him, it's like fucking his beard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cheating. I'll be honest with you. If I was the other brother, I'd probably move out when I realised my brother was fucking a fish.
That's what I'm saying.
Just me, but I mean, once you go that deep, I don't know. But
I just know the younger brother, he'd been seeing that fish behind his older brother's back for a long time.
That's not the first time it's happened.
No, he's been looking at his watch, waiting for him to go to work. It's just this time he was too relaxed and too drunk.
Yep. And that was the end of it. Fucking hell. Yeah. I love that story so much.
I don't know if I told it good, but that's the way, I always tell that story a bit more animated drunk because I've got a drink to get rid of the trauma. So.
Just in the back of your head, just slapping you around the ears.
You know, like there's certain things in life you don't want to think about or don't want to see. I remember going to a friend's house and he lived in apartments where, similar to your place here, where you walk down a corridor and you go, there's lots of apartments off the corridor.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, I was leaving one night and this lady come out who was probably in her late 60s, early 70s, and but she just had a nightgown on, we call them house coats in the UK, like a fluffy.
Yep.
And she was obviously, intoxicated on something, and I'll never forget it. And I was probably early 20s, and I come out and she jumps out and she went, "Hey, you, do you want a bit of fun?" And I was like, "Fuck, I just want to go home," you know what I mean? And she flashed me. Like, she opened her house coat and she flashed me this, don't get me wrong, 60, 70-year-old women are beautiful in their own way.
Yeah, but they're no carp.
Well, they're no common carp. And she flashed me and I was like, fuck, Jesus Christ, what? And then I managed to get past it and get away from it. Like, but I've still got that image of her burnt into my head, like a fucking, it did look like a dead hedgehog, to be honest, like, wrapped up in a prune. But, it's like you never ever, there's certain things in life that no matter how traumatized you are or how much therapy you get, it's just there, it's a go-to. But then again, I just, if I ever, want to last a bit longer in the sack, I just think of that situation and it keeps
as long as you never think of Bernadette, otherwise that'll go the opposite.
Mate, straight away. So and then I thought and before I always wanted to keep fish up until that point.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck that, I'm not keeping fish.
I'll be honest with you, if I went round your house and seen fish there now, I'd be suspicious. I'll be like, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah. Well, why have you invited me round so late at night? Here's a bottle of whiskey, squirrels. I'll see you later. Don't worry about those cameras.
Yeah.
But
house sitting.
Yeah, but you hear some random stories, especially in the comedy scene. But when you've witnessed them yourself, you just think, "Fuck me, that's just."
Oh mate, that's as crazy as I've ever fucking heard. Like, you get the big trevally with massive lips up north, and someone always pretends to to fuck it. But I never actually thought someone would do it. But
but I think it's like, have you seen those? I don't know if those, you can get, is it the flashlight? The fleshlight.
Yeah, the fleshlight.
And then you get the one that actually is mechanical. Like, and that you sort of, not that I'm a fucking expert, but literally you just, you get a lob on, you slot it on, and I just think that carp was probably the fish equivalent of one of those mechanical flashlights. Stick it on, go asleep. But at least you just wash them in the morning. You don't have to fucking give them fish CPR.
Yeah. What's worse, giving a fish CPR or giving a fish CPR? Well, obviously that's worse. After your brother's dick's been in it. I mean, I'd draw the line at the fish, to be honest with you.
Compressions, yeah. You can do that. And God knows, like, what it was squelching to fuck, so I had a full belly, mate.
Yeah.
But then, like, just to start. Yeah.
Also, it's a fish. So blowing oxygen into its mouth,
it's not gonna.
it's gonna kill it more.
It's just gonna destroy the fish.
Yeah.
But it was pretty dead. But I think the fact that they had a funeral for it, and they were all gathered around this hole, and no one. I mean, and there was other random tenants, random people and no one actually went, "This is fucked up."
This is the most fucked up thing.
This is the most fucked up thing.
I would go to it though.
Oh God, yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, I'm glad I did in the end,
Like, how many times do you get invited round for a fish funeral?
That died doing the thing it loved.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, but do you know what though? The sad thing about, well, I don't know if it's a sad thing or whatever, but it was a big, beautiful fish,
Yeah.
Part of me when I first saw it, I thought that needs to be let go. But then again, it would have just turned into a pimp in the canal and just started pimping out all the other fucking fish or something like that. Just going around, just sucking shit out of everything.
Imagine all just the seedy blokes showing up to the lake and you're like, what's going on here? And they're just fucking the same fish. She's just taking one and then the other.
I don't know if it's like the equivalent of dogging, but in the bar. Like, I don't know what you call it, like, so, but Yeah, it was funny times in that place, and I'll come and tell you a few more stories about that. But I just think brotherly love
mate, that
sums it up nicely.
That's as good as it gets. I think we better pack her up because we got a comedy show to get to. Yeah. But thanks for chumming up. That is,
mate, pleasure.
An absolute fucking epic story.
Thank you.
And I do want to hear more stories about the apartment. Yeah. So we'll get you on here when we've got some other fishermen to tell their fishing stories, and then we'll just break it up with fucked up stories from John's apartment.
I promise I won't ask too many questions of them. You know, I'll read the fishing book before I come next time.
No worries.
Thanks
Cheers,
for having
big
me. Thank you so much.
Ja.
Oh my god, what the fuck is happening right now? Dolphin in killer whale's mouth? Holy shit. Oh, this is the best day of my life, God. What?
I like going down the pond chasing bluegills and kamikakes.